Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 8th of December. Trips to Pretoria, load shedding, office internet outages have turned a midday mull into an early evening mull. Apologies for that, but God is unchanged and His word is with us, and we have that to rely on. And today, Robert Murray McShane has us reading Luke chapter 22, and there's two sections which I'd like to focus on. The one in verse 7, we're told, "Then came the day of unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, 'Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover.'" So this was preparing for the Last Supper, and he sends Peter and John to make the preparations. That's as much as we're told. We're not told what they thought about it, whether they did this joyfully, whether they thought this was a privilege, or whether this was onerous for them. Because a little later in the passage, verse 24, we have at the middle of the Last Supper, we're told, "Also a dispute arose among them as to which of them was considered to be the greatest." So this was still an issue for them. Who's more important than who? And so one wonders, did Peter and John go muttering, "Why do we have to do it? Why can't the juniors do it?" Peter saying, "I was the first one selected. I shouldn't have to do this kind of stuff. John, you're probably the youngest. You should." John saying, No, but hold on. I'm one of the apostles. Or get one of the normal disciples to do it." One wonders how they processed it. We're not told. We're just told that they went, did it. They had the Last Supper. They had this argument amongst them, which Jesus corrected it and said, "Don't look at status the way the world does. The kingdom of God operates differently." And as I read that and thought about it, it just sort of reminded me that we sometimes think of St. Peter and St. John as these divine people that walk around with a little halo around their head, etc., whereas they were human. They were as human as we are, and they were arguing about which of them was the greatest. And later in the chapter, they go off with Jesus to pray, and they fall asleep. And I've seen more than one person fall asleep during a prayer meeting or a church service, and they're just being like the apostles. And so the wonderful thing is that Jesus could choose ordinary, fallible people like them, as he calls ordinary, fallible people like myself, and says, "Come with me." And he makes a difference. And he doesn't magically turn us into something we aren't. He uses us as we are to be his presence, his light, his life in the world. So be encouraged that Jesus uses even us in his work in the world, despite our imperfections. Be encouraged and be blessed.